Welcome to Personal Mastery Training. I'm your host, Alvin Brown, former world-class athlete turned entrepreneur and consultant. Join us as we learn from guests who have conquered their inner battles and share their journeys to success. Get ready for inspirational masterclasses and thought-provoking strategy sessions to fuel your path to personal mastery. Let's dive in. Hey everybody, welcome to another strategy episode. Today, here's what I want to talk about today. Stretching your timeline, how to get back, how to gain back your schedule and your mind. See, here's the thing that I see with a lot of my clients and a lot of people in general, especially those who are goal setters and high productivity people, high performers. We get overwhelmed. We often get overwhelmed and we feel like we can't achieve our goals because we have so many dreams and so lofty of dreams that we often get overwhelmed, and this leads to paralysis due to overanalysis. I think it was Bill Gates who said, we overestimate what we can do in a year and totally underestimate what we can do in 10. Okay, so a lot of times there's a lot we can get done if we stretch our timeline out and give ourselves some time. If your goal is big, hairy, and audacious enough, you're going to need time. And that's what we don't give ourselves enough of. So I'm going to give you a little NLP strategy that you can use to reduce the stress and get back focus and feel better about your schedule. So here's how it's going to work. See, here's the thing. The subconscious mind is timeless. It doesn't understand chronology. It doesn't understand this whole idea of the calendar. It's timeless. This is why we can go back in time at any moment and remember an emotional event that leaves a mark on us. For some people, I can say, where were you 2001, 9/11? And they can go back and relive the entire day, who were they talking to, what they were wearing, what they were eating, everything. Because it's episodic memory. There's a memory and an imprint at that time because it's so highly emotionally engaging that time that we tend to remember that. So there is actually no calendar. So the timeline, when I ask you to remember a time 10 years ago, you can either think of time as being in front of you or to your left or right, depending on where the timing is. So what I'm going to get you to do with your timeline, when you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed about getting a goal done or a project at work or whatever it might be, and you're feeling like, one, you don't have enough time, which is all in our heads, this idea or perception that we don't have enough time. We have all the time in the world to get what we want done. We just have to have patience and stay focused on doing the job in the moment, the present moment. But oftentimes, referring to anxiety and fear, is we're going into the future because it's about things, the unknown. It's hard to be fearful of things that you already know how it ends in the past. What you might be fearful about the past is it's repeating itself in the future. So we tend to get anxiety and fear in the future of the outcome that might happen. So how do we, if you're the type who set goals, your high goals, and you feel like we're running out of time, maybe you're too old, maybe there's not enough time left, or somebody else is doing it, or you're behind the 8 ball, or whatever it might be. Here's what I want you to do. You're going to sit quiet in a quiet spot. Take a few deep breaths in. What I usually teach my clients is a focused attention meditation style, which is 4 breaths in to calm yourself, hold for 2, and 4 breaths out. Hold for 2, and repeat. Center yourself. I want you to center yourself. And then here's what I want you to do next. I want you to imagine your timeline. So imagine a continuous stream of time on a line, just like the name says, timeline. And I want you to see yourself from the day you want to achieve, from today's date. And I want to see yourself in the future, a year from now or 10 years from now. or see a project that you're working on at work. A deadline is coming up, something with a time-based deadline to it that creates pressure for you. Now, here's what I want you to do. So continue your breathing in your relaxed state. I want you to elevate. See yourself being elevated, a helicopter, an elevator, something that takes you and lifts you above the timeline. And the timeline, again, starts from today to the time you want to achieve it, the project, the goal, whatever it might be. See yourself elevating above that timeline and seeing it in its continuity from beginning to the date when you want to achieve it. Now, as you're being lifted and elevated above that timeline, you should start feeling a sense of calm. Because when you're in it, feeling crushed by time, feeling squeezed, feeling overwhelmed, it's very hard to be relaxed so that goal can come to fruition. So each time you go to elevate, and I want you to elevate as far up as you can go to start to feel like you can breathe again. Stop being squeezed by time. So elevate above your timeline. See the beginning date, see the end date. Elevate yourself above. Keep going higher and higher and higher until you start to feel yourself breathing again. Give yourself some space between you and your goal. Give yourself some space so you can see you do have more time than you think. Even if it's due in 24 hours, give yourself some space. Elevate above it. Now, while you're above your timeline, seeing the date and the continuity of it, I want you to see yourself what's happening in that timeline, how you're getting it done, how you're able to get it done. What resources do you need? What actions do you need to take? Start to see yourself from behind your eyes. You are now the observer of you on that timeline. How is it? The exam is due on the weekend and it's now Monday, but you feel like you haven't done enough. This is a great place to start before you start diving into the books. Start to elevate above the timeline. See yourself studying the books. See yourself successfully getting through from day to day to day, putting in the work, the chapters, the paragraphs you need to read, making the notes, and see yourself successfully entering the exam and successfully thinking straight, thinking logical, seeing the information coming back to you easily, effortlessly, and see yourself completing it to a successful outcome. Now, once you're done doing that successfully, you feel really good about it, honestly, to yourself. You feel really good about it. I want you to come back down slowly, continuing to breathe. But now, when you land back into today, you should feel a sense of ease, a sense because you know what it's going to take and how you're going to navigate the roadblocks, the challenges, because you've had a greater, higher vantage point to see yourself being successful. Let's take a goal, big, hairy, audacious goal. Start a company, write a book, run a marathon, whatever it might be, and you feel as if you're squeezed by time, you don't have enough time, or you're overwhelmed. Elevate. Feel yourself elevating, lifting. Again, use whatever metaphor you need to use to see yourself elevating above the problem, the challenge, the pressure. And each time you're elevating, how high do you elevate? You elevate as high as it starts to get you to breathe fully again. I don't know what height that is, but that's up to you to take that elevator up, helicopter up, lift yourself, whatever it is. See yourself rising above. When you start to breathe, that opens up your conscious mind to start to reduce the stress. So you can start to see options. You can start to see answers. You can start to see resources. You can start to see who's going to help you. You're going to start to see yourself being successful. Find the answers that you need. Because when you're deep in, when you're under stress, you move from fight, flight to freeze. And when you're in freeze mode, nothing is getting done. So let's do that again. Whatever it is, see yourself being pressed by time, see yourself being compressed by time, feel the tension in your chest, feel the tension in your stomach. Now I want you to elevate, rise, rise, rise. Right there, you start to breathe. From that vantage point of being able to breathe, now your conscious mind starts to think logical. Look from the beginning to end. See who's there to help you. See what resources you have. See yourself successfully coming out of it. And then take that information. Once you've got it locked in, keep that thought. Then start to bring yourself back down into the present moment, back to the present moment, breathing as you're going back. And then when you land, you get out your journal and you start to write down the answers, start to write down the resources, and start to realize that I'm getting caught up in this perception of no time left. So that is what I want you to do about stretching your timeline. Get your schedule back. Get your mind back in the game. You're being overwhelmed by your own thoughts. You can do this. You have the resource, you have the strength, you have the skill. You've done it before. You can do this. You're just being overwhelmed right now, and the brain is moving into freeze. This will unfreeze you. All right. So that is the idea, the concept behind stretching your timeline. I'm certain you can go on YouTube, you can go on Google it. You'll see a lot of work about timeline therapy. But that's a little tip I wanted to share with you about how to get your mojo back, how to get out of that stuck spot and get on with your goal. Let me know. Give me some feedback on that. Let me know how it helped you out and how you can do this anytime you ever feel overwhelmed, squeezed, pressurized by time. All right. So that is your mastery resource. I want you to take it away. I want you to journal on it. I want you to tease it out. I want you to use it. It'd be my absolute blessing and pleasure if you did use it. That's what I'm here for. All right. If you know somebody who else could use it, let's like, subscribe, share this message, and let's build our community. All right. Until next time. Peace and love. Have a great one.